Manga.
My wife, she did something unbelievable the other day. Her father took out a loan for his business, and she made me a joint guarantor without even telling me. I had no idea about any of this until I got a letter in the mail. I had no idea about any of this, so I asked my wife what this was. Then...
Huh? I thought I told you already. I made you the joint guarantor.
What? I never agreed to that. And this loan is for your dad's business. This is a lot of money.
But we're family. You're supposed to help me.
I never agreed to this. What's wrong with you? Seriously. I was furious. I didn't even know what to say to her. Her grandfather founded the company many years ago. The company was doing pretty well when her grandfather was in charge. But then, after her father took over, things started to go south. He knew nothing about running a business. He hired people based on his type. Oh, you're hired. People started leaving the company after that. Earnings were down, but he kept spending the company's money on luxurious stuff like expensive cars and nice dinners. He paid himself extremely well, but rarely came into the office. He spent most of his time on the golf course. I tried to warn him countless times, but stay out of it. It was no use. I didn't even work there, so I decided to let it go. It wasn't my problem, you know. But now, I was his joint guarantor. His company was a mess. It was just a matter of time before it went out of business. And once that happens, I'll be $1 million in debt. And I never agreed to this. She forged my signature on the loan application. It looked nothing like my real one. I went to go see her father right away. What the hell is wrong with him? He must be out of his mind if he thinks I'm just gonna let this go. I told him I was gonna report this to the authorities. But then, what? But we're a family. You're supposed to help me. But when my daughter asked you to help us, you said you needed time to think about it. We had no choice. Seriously, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Why the hell would I agree to be a joint guarantor of a company that's about to go under? I never liked her father to begin with, but I didn't think he was this crazy. And my wife was just like him.
You should have said yes when we asked you to help us.
That's when I knew I had to end things with her. Look, I never agreed to this, and you forged my signature on a loan application. This is a crime. I'm going to the cops. But then...
The police? Seriously? You can't do that.
She started crying. Why were they blaming me for this? There was just no talking to them. I decided to head home. I didn't tell my parents about this just yet. I didn't want to worry them. I called one of my colleagues and asked him to help me out. He introduced me to a really good lawyer. The lawyer told me to get the cops involved right away. My wife and my father begged me not to do that, but I had no choice now. But then I made another shocking discovery. My wife, she took all the money from our savings account. There was about 70 grand in there. We were saving up because we wanted kids someday. And the thing is, 60 of the 70 grand was my money. I saved it up when I was single. It took me years, but now it was gone. Forging my signature and making me a joint guarantor of a loan wasn't enough. Now she was literally stealing from me. I didn't even know what to do anymore. I went to her parents' house to have a talk with her, but then, 70 grand? That's nothing. I can pay that back right away. Get out of here.
Yeah, Dad will take care of everything. Stop worrying.
She didn't even apologize. You know most of that money was mine, right? You used it all?
We're married. That money is mine too. Just let it go.
What did I ever see in her? I should have never married her. A few days later, I found out something unexpected. They analyzed my signature on the loan application, and, turns out, it wasn't my wife who forged my signature. And it wasn't her father either. Turns out, it was one of his employees. He paid him and asked him to forge my signature for him. Unbelievable. Anyways, I had more than enough evidence now, so I went to go see my lawyer. Alright, I think that's more than enough evidence to prove that the signature was forged. I'll handle the rest. Sit tight. Thank goodness. And the lawyer told me that the bank was likely to sue him for fraud. A few days later, my lawyer and I went to go see my wife's father. When he realized that he was screwed, he started begging me to forgive him. He said he'll sell his company and pay me in full if I agreed to keep the cops out of this. All I wanted was to get my money back, so I decided to make a deal with him. A few weeks later, he paid me in full, and that was that. But then...
Well then, I guess I'll move back in. I bet you missed me.
Seriously? Are you dumb? I'm divorcing you. What did you think was gonna happen?
Divorce? For what? Everything worked out, right?
Shut up. You really think I'd let you move back in, after everything you did to me? Get out of my life. I never want to see you again.
Oh, what? Why?
She begged me to forgive her, but my mind was made up. I just wanted her out of my life. So I handed her the divorce papers.
Wait, no, please!
It was pathetic. She tried to fight it, but I was too tired to deal with her, so I asked my lawyer to handle this as well. He explained to her that what she did was illegal, and that if she wasn't going to agree to the divorce, we were ready to press charges. A few days later, she finally came to her senses and agreed to the divorce. She tried to fight it until the very end, but I wanted nothing to do with her. I never wanted to see her again, or her family. It was time to move on with my own life. I decided to move out of the city. I wanted to get away from them as much as possible. And thanks to my lawyer, I got all my money back, so I had more than enough money to start a new life. My ex-wife went back to live with her parents after that, but they were constantly fighting. Apparently, she was blaming her father for everything now. Whatever, not my problem anymore. She tried calling me a few times, but I blocked her, so there was nothing she could do. I was really grateful for my lawyer. He was really good. If it wasn't for him, none of this would have been possible. Oh, and about a year later, my ex-wife's father's company went out of business. When the loan application got rejected, he initiated pay cuts. But he kept paying himself the same exact amount as before. Naturally, most of his employees left the company, and the company went under a few months later. He lost everything. He even had to sell his house. Now they all live in some crappy apartment. Things weren't looking good for them. Ah well, not my problem anyways. Glad everything worked out. Time to move on with my life.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.